Welcome back, David.
Yeah, hi Raphael. Yes. Okay, now I've got news for you since we've last spoken. Yeah. I'll cut the introduction short.
All
The
right.
simple thing is, there's Professor Anatoly from Fomenko from Russia. Now, Philip Druzhinin said he's suspicious, and a lot of the work he's done um, is very good. Without a doubt, it's amongst the best in the world. But the thing is, everybody has a source. Yes. So the thing is, because I went through his work, and um, many people contact me and they question me saying, "Hey, what are you doing? This, that." I've had a lot of questions from people who are Christian evangelicals who are saying, "Hey, David, are you actually preaching Islam?" I'm not a preacher. Yes, that's one. And then I've had debates and rows with the Muslims recently um, over certain subjects because it doesn't agree with what they're saying in Orthodox Islam. But anyway, the thing is, Professor Fomenko pointed out, yeah, I'll send you this picture. Pointed out that the Hebrew Bible, or what we call the Old Testament, is actually showing events that took place during and after the Middle Ages. Now, this is such a big statement. And what he does, he goes through many chapters, many verses in the Old Testament. He goes through it very well that anybody can see that he's done his research very well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's hidden something. He's absolutely hidden something that nobody's talking about. So now the thing is, when anybody looks at the Middle Ages, we cannot ignore it all the way through till up to, you could say basically through to World War One until 1923. Yes, for 1,000 years, every single year, there was a major war between Christianity and Islam, non-stop for 1,000 years. And it basically stopped around 1923 with the defeat of Germany. Germany.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that many people don't realize. They turn around and think it was the fall of the Muslim Ottoman Empire. Many people call it the Turkish Empire. I wouldn't call it a Turkish Empire because there's Arabs there and there's people from the Balkans. There's many Hungarians in the Ottoman army, even in World War One, which is shocking. Yeah, and many Hungarians have questions saying, "Hey, the Ottoman Empire put us backwards." Yes, this is very important. Because who was the Ottoman Empire? Was it really a Turkish empire or did it start in Germany? This is something that
Mm-hmm.
I went through. And then another strange thing is many of these Vatican documents during the Middle Ages, yes, these Jesuits, these monks and other people, yeah, what we find very strange is that the Muslims are commonly addressed as Mohammeds or the Mohammedans, the
Mohammedans.
Mohammeds.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Muhammadana, yeah.
No,
Mm-hmm.
not just Mohammedans, that's an English word, but let's use what they used, Mohammeds, like Raphaels instead of Raphaelans,
Mm-hmm.
Raphaels. Yeah. So the thing is, in simple Hebrew, if somebody has a look, yeah, in simple Hebrew, in the Old Testament and even today, the word for Muhammad, as it's written, I'll send it you and you can have a look. This is simple Hebrew. Yeah, like it's just the word Muhammad in Hebrew today. If you live in Israel, you've got a passport. This is how you will write Muhammad. But now that they've modified modern Hebrew in the 20th century, yes, they add the letter A or the letter O here and there
Right.
because they're doing this on purpose. Like imagine if you are an Arab and you gave birth to a baby on the Israeli side. Yes, then the Israeli authorities and their governing officials will say, "Hey, spell it like this." They just give you advice nicely and kindly. In other words, to update how it was spelt during the Middle Ages
Yeah.
or after the Middle Ages. Yeah. So now the strange thing is, the Muslims have had two preachers in 100 years. Yeah. And the thing is, I'll go through these preachers with you, and I'll show you. Evangelicals have had hundreds of major ones. The Muslims have had two in 100 years, which is shocking. We're talking only two global renowned preachers, two major ones. Yes. One's called Ahmadi, that is from South Africa. And the thing is, if you do a little research on him, you'll find that when was he born? This He was born, yeah, I think. not think is not good enough. Let's just have a look on Google. Yeah, this man, he was born in 1918, so he must have done his education in the 1920s and 1930s. Yeah, that's a long time ago. And since then, in the last 100 years, the Muslims have some other preacher. I think he's from India or Bangladesh, or he's a Bengali background person, but with an Indian passport or something. I'm not sure, or maybe from Bombay or Mumbai. And this guy, he's called Zakir Naik or Zakir Naik, I call him, because I saw many Americans call him Zakir Naik. He was born in 1965, so his education's 1970s and 1980s. Yeah, and the thing is, he's linked with the media, so many people say maybe he's got an agenda. But the thing is, I've noticed that he doesn't really have an agenda, and he does go through facts, like Anatoly Fomenko. He points out certain facts, but you got to remember his education's 1970s. Yes, 1970s, and Ahmadiyya, we're talking 1930s and 40s. And the thing is, these people pointed out that Muhammad's in the Bible. Yes. And the thing is, but they pointed out Muhammad's in the Bible only in one place. Since then, you know, the Muslims in the 80s, 90s, you know, in the 21st century, we've got Muslims who've made hundreds and thousands of videos. And they've spent millions of hours, you know, with their Muslim evangelical videos. I don't know what to call them, preachers. And the thing is, a lot of them have based a lot of their research on what these two gentlemen did. And but we're talking about research from the 1930s and 40s. Yeah, almost like the research has not been updated, which is a disaster, I would say, for the Muslim community. I've had rows with them saying, hey, why has there not been any researchers trying to update the information? What the hell is going on? Yes, because there seems to be a global war between religions, and even it turns into violence. We saw what happened in Russia in the 1990s, and in the Balkans in the 1990s, and even in Central Asia and even in China because of religion.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me go to the biggest conspiracy ever, Professor Anatoly Fomenko. Yes, so he's going through the Bible, and there's no way he could not have noticed this, and he's not mentioned it. And if he did mention it, the world would have had, for the last 20 years, we could have moved forward a lot more. Yes, I'm going through the details because I'm putting this in a book right now, and it totally shocked me. Yes, that Anatoly Fomenko said, hey, that the Old Testament is describing events in the Middle Ages. And the Middle Ages, we're seeing these Mohammeds who are fighting the rest of the world every single year. What the hell is going on? I mean, this is, you know, a crazy history. Yes, that we call the Crusades, and these wars that are going on. These wars were very violent. We're talking about the type of wars that we saw in the Balkans, and then what we saw in South Russia in the 1990s. Yeah, and you know, unfortunately, many people got hurt and killed, and it was to do with the Bible. So if Professor Fomenko is correct, and he's got so much information, which shows that he's correct, he shows that the Bible describes events during and after the Middle Ages, then it must mention these Muslims and Mohammeds, and these Mohammedans who were fighting. So now check this out. Yeah, Fomenko shows every character, but mysteriously, he even doesn't mention this. Yes. So now what I found myself, and it's in my book, you know, Jerusalem is in Europe. For example, in the book of Joel, in chapter 3, in verse 5, it mentions the word Mohammed, and how they've translated it as they're trying to say God said this, or maybe it wasn't God. We don't know who wrote these Bibles, but anyway, well, we have an idea, but I'm trying to cut it short. It turns around and says they've translated it and says, because you have taken my gold and my silver, you have taken my prized possessions into your temples and palaces. Oh, they've translated the word Muhammad as an object. Yeah, saying as possessions. But anybody who reads that, yeah, you know, there's no vowels there. Yeah, so you could pronounce it Mohammed, Mohammed, or Muhammad, however you want to. Yeah, it clearly says in that verse, it says, because you have taken my gold and my silver, and you have taken my prized Mohammedans into your temples and palaces. Now, this sounds more like what happened in the Middle Ages, what we're hearing about in Hungary. Yes, the Hungarians can remember, and in south of Germany, where the Vatican and the churches are kidnapping women and children and forcing them to go into their temples called churches. Yes, to pray to their gods. So people were kidnapping on either side. That we hear, the Serbians who were saying, "Hey, the Muslims were taking our women and children, and they were taking them into the mosques." And the Vatican denies this, of course, and so did the Ottoman Empire. Yes, they denied it, but this history is there, and it's inside the communities that it's still remembered to this day. But the question is, what is Mohammed doing in the Bible? And if he's supposed to be God's prized possession, hey, what the hell? These Mohammeds are the prized possessions of God in the Bible. Now, this is Joel, the book of Joel. Anybody can open it. Oh, if they're going to say that Muhammad is an object, then we can turn around and say, Jesus Christ is an apple. Oh, King David's a banana, and King Solomon is an orange. Yes, we can do the same argument. And if they say, oh, no, your argument's not valid, it is well known that King Solomon could be an object. Sol or Mon, that he's the sun and the moon. He wasn't a person. Yes, and these evangelicals and Orthodox and Catholic Christians who want a temple in Jerusalem, and people are fighting about it. We're hearing people die now, pretty often in the Middle East. Oh, a lot of these stories have been exaggerated by both sides politically because there's a lot of money involved. Yeah, I'll go through that later. But anyway, the thing is, if they're going to turn around and say, hey, oh no, Muhammad is an object, it's a possession here. Yes. Oh, okay, then I could say Solomon is the sun and the moon. Yes, the temple of the sun and the moon is just some fictitious idea, and many people have studied it as Masonic symbols, and it looks like it's just an object, that it's not real, it's just a myth and a fairy tale. We can interpret things the same way. So the same rule applies on the opposite side also. Yeah, this doesn't mean I'm speaking in defense of the Muslims. The fact is, Muhammad is there, and what is he doing there? If I found Adolf Hitler in the Bible, I will point it out. Yes. So this doesn't mean I'm supporting, German nationalism in the 1930s. Yeah. It means that I actually found Adolf Hitler in the Bible.
Right.
No, I found Muhammad there. Now, the thing is, if I found Donald Trump there, I will point out Donald Trump is in the Bible. This doesn't mean I'm supporting Donald Trump and I'm on his side. No, I will say Donald Trump's here and he's clearly here. Now, if the Old Testament is written thousands of years ago, like they claim, what is this Muhammad doing here describing events in the Middle Ages? This is one. So now I'll send you many places, and it's totally suspicious. This is not one place, it's throughout the Bible. Yes. So now I've sent you another one. Have you received it? This is in the book of Lamentations, chapter 1, verse 10. Oh, here, they've decided to use different words. Instead of possessions, they've translated it as pleasant. Now, what they've shown here is that it turned out if you translate and keep the original word Muhammad, who's here, then it should actually say the enemy has spread his hand out over all the Mohammedans. Yes, which sounds realistic. Yes, for she has seen the heathens enter into her sanctuary. Yes, those you commanded that must not enter your assembly. And then the assembly place actually matches what the Quran says. It says the assembly place was Becca. Now, by the way, this is in the Quran, by the way. Yes. So now this actually describes events during the Middle Ages. The Mohammedans who were fighting, the Crusaders. Or the Crusaders are known as the Christians, but the Crusaders were the Muslims as well. It was both sides. The Crusades came from both sides. Yes. So now the strange thing is, if you're going to translate this as the enemy has spread out his hands over all her pleasant things, it doesn't make sense. For she has seen the nations enter her sanctuary, things like this. Yes, and they've translated it as nations, but everyone knows what the goyim is. Anybody who studied a bit of Hebrew, yeah. So that's another fake word. They're just mistranslating these things on purpose. And then there's another thing. Yes, the Hebrew language didn't exist as a spoken language. Most of these words actually are basically the same as Arabic anyway. Yes, so they're basically the same. So let me just send you a picture of the Bible, because this is not a joke. Yes, because I've seen people are preaching, and it's not just preaching. People are spending thousands of pounds. People are so worried about their future. People want to know the truth. Yes, it's not a joke. And this book called the Bible, yeah, we call it holy. Whether it's holy or not, that's your interpretation. But this book, yes. Now, Ahmed Didat and Zachary Wright pointed out it's in one place. Yeah. So far, I've shown, hey, it's in two places. This book is the history of the Mohammeds, or the Mohammedans. Now let's go through more. Now, let me just send you all these things. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the silence of Professor Fomenko, yeah, it's not just criticism. I agree with Philip Drugenin. This is totally suspicious. He's a great researcher. Yeah, even Mike Ferreira knows him. Mike Ferreira is another great researcher who I admire as well. Well, anyway, in this here, the first book of Kings, chapter 20, I mean, verse 16. What they've done is they've translated the word Mohammed as pleasant again. Yeah, and what they've done is, now around this time tomorrow, it talks about a battle that people can remember. These battles were in South Germany and in Hungary. That they were fighting on both sides when the Ottoman came, and the Holy Roman Empire did the same thing, and the Habsburgs did the same thing. That people can remember these things. That people are still alive in Austria. They can still remember what their grandparents said, and said these type of events actually happened. Now here it turns around and says that somebody is making a demand, and they're saying, now around this time tomorrow, I will send my servants to you, and they will search your house, your castle or your palace, and the houses of your servants, and this will happen. And whatever is Mohammed's, they shall put in their hands, and they will take it. It actually says Mohammed here. Here they've there's no vowels there. It says Mohammed, but they've written Mahmed, even for the pronunciation, like Mehmed, the Turkish pronunciation, and then they've translated as whatever is pleasant in your eyes. Yeah, which doesn't make sense. Yes, it doesn't make sense, and it makes more sense that if you actually put the name there, that those words are there, and then you got to translate them as you wish. That's why every translated version is different. So so many people are referring to these things, and they're going through, yeah, the Old Testament, saying, hey, this started predicts this. It's talking about predictions. Is it predictions, or is it actually events that happened in the Middle Ages? Now here is the book of Ezekiel. This is a very important book that many churches are quoting this on Sundays. And now check this out. At the beginning it says, and you, son of man. This is very important, because they turn out and say Christ was the son of man. This started everything. Now, anybody who can read it, yeah, anybody who knows Hebrew as well as Arabic, it's exactly the same there. Ben Adam or Bani Adam, yes, in Arabic or in Hebrew. And it doesn't say the son of man, it actually says the son of Adam. Now, if they're going to turn around and say that it actually says, no, this means the son of man, Adam just means man, then we'll say Solomon just means sun and moon, and Jesus Christ means apple, and what do you call it? Yes, and the Virgin Mary is a tomato. Yeah, we could say Mary means a tomato. Yeah, well, anyway, yeah, it turns out says, and I will include the name Mohammed without translating it. Then it will say, and you, the son of man, yes, not on the day when I take from them their stronghold and their joy and glory, and Mohammed away from their eyes and from their life and from their sons and their daughters. But instead, they've turned around and translated as the desire. The desire? It doesn't make sense. They're trying to turn around and say, when I take from them their stronghold, and I take away their joy and glory and desire from their eyes and from their life. What are they desiring? Oh, by the way, if this is true, then it means that Muhammad is the desire of Israel. Muhammad is the desire of the Christians and the Jews. Muhammad is the beautiful one. Muhammad is the pleasant one. Muhammad is the prized possession. Hey, can you see? So we can play it both ways. If we play it their way, then we can say that, oh, Muhammad is their prized possession. He's the desire. He's their desire. and that God's even threatening the children of Adam, yeah, that he's going to take it away. And if they say the Son of Man is Christ, who's predicted here, then God is threatening to Jesus Christ and the Son of Man, I'm going to take away Mohammed from their eyes. Oh, Mohammed is their desire. Whoa, what the hell's going on here? Yes, do you see? Yes,
Yeah.
can you see it? By the time you go through all the verses, there's many of them. It's just ridiculous.
Could you
Yeah.
maybe, I mean, only if you know about it, because I'm certainly not a Bible scholar, could you give a bit context to these verses? Like, what are they talking about overall? Or,
Okay, right. What I will do, because we've gone through several verses, we've only gone through 4. So let's go through more. Then it's better to go through the context. Then people will see that there's something there. Because if we just show 4, then people will say 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not enough. So now here is the book of Isaiah. This is a very important book for preachers in Christianity and Judaism, because they stop you in town centers everywhere preaching. I've had it throughout my life. So now, anyway, here they've translated the word as our pleasant things, another object or something, and it turns around and says, our holy, beautiful house, yeah, where our fathers praised you. And if you keep the Mohammedan, Mohammedanu, if you keep the word there, then the translation will actually say, our holy, beautiful house where our fathers praised you is burnt out with fire, and the Mohammedans are destroyed. But instead, they've translated it as, our holy, beautiful house where our fathers praised you is burnt out with fire, and our pleasant things are destroyed. So, does it say pleasant things? But in the last verse, it said, our desire of our eyes.
right.
So now let's translate it to the last verse and put it down, where our fathers praised you, burnt out with fire, and the desires, because it's plural, our desires in our eyes are destroyed. It clearly says the Mohammedans, Mohammedinu. Yes. So they're lying again. This is just a lie. Yeah, it's just a lie. Now Mohammed's in the Bible. We've got a serious problem. This totally changes history. Yes, I hope I go down as one of the greatest researchers in history now, alongside with Professor Fomenko. Yes. Oh, alongside with Ahmed Didat and Zakir Naik. Yes. And
then
the
just to
thing
be
is,
very
well,
clear,
anyway,
I mean, it's obvious there, but all you did in a sense is actually take a look, because even the previous one, it basically said Namo Amida or something, and here it also says Mahamadi or whatever. So it's like
Mohammedan,
it,
Mohammedinu.
it's just
Yeah,
about
Mohammedan.
reading the actual pronunciation of it to figure out that the word Muhammad is in there. Like, it's not secret or anything. It's like written there. It's right there.
Yes. I will explain the context later. Remind me to ask, was it a secret? Is it a secret or not? The context and the background. Because if we look at the Crusades again, I will go through the Holy Roman Empire again, because I went through a lot of blogs in a lot of opinions of Hungarian blogs and Austrian blogs. How many people say that the Ottoman Empire had a serious effect on Hungary? Yes, and
Uh-huh.
in Austria. Yes, and Czech Republic and Slovakia. Because the thing is, who were the Ottomans? Yeah, were they actually from the Balkans, or did they have something to do with Germany? Because don't
hmm
forget, Germany was fighting alongside with Turkey in World War One, and we
Yes,
cannot
yes,
even find
yes.
the history of the 19th century. We can't find it. Anybody who reads my book, Napoleon did not exist, or Napoleon and the Mud Flood, everybody will realize there is something wrong, that the entire history of World War One is a joke. We cannot even understand. It's a total madness what's going on in that war. Well, anyway, let me send you more of this Muhammad thing, because he's all over. The same way like Jesus Christ's name's all over the Bible, like King David and Solomon and Moses. Yes, Muhammad. Yeah, he's part of the Bible. Yes, he's part of Christianity. He's part of Judaism. Yes, anybody who says he's not, yeah, yes, the Bible is a Muslim book. Yeah, quote my words. Yes. Well, anyway, now look at this. Oh, this time the word Muhammad is a desire again. Ezekiel chapter 24, verse 21. They've translated it as desire. Yes, but now the thing is, the strange thing is, what do you call it? If you just look at the picture of the before I read the translation. I've underlined desire. And then the strange thing is, within that sentence, it says, desire of your eyes, delight of your eyes. So you cannot have it double. Can you see? Yes? Yeah. It says Mahmad and then Mahmal. Yes. The thing is, it doesn't make sense. It turns around and says that what they've translated it as, I will leave the word Mohammed there, yeah, instead of the desire. And then it says, speak to the house of Israel. Go and tell them, this is what he says to the world. Now, I didn't translate this as the word God, because it turns out and says Adonai. And then it says Yahweh. Now, the word Yahweh also means he is. It doesn't necessarily mean God. So I've left it as this is what he says, because he is could be anybody. It could be the Vatican. You understand? Because look at these type of words that are here. It sounds very violent, and they're trying to say God say these words. It says, this is what he says to the world. You will see that I'm going to profane the sanctuary. You know, I'm going to attack, basically do these. And then the word for sanctuary is mukaddas, yes, which is very, very strange. Yeah, it's actually the same in Arabic. You know, most of these words are, and then there's profane ma halal. You know, halal is what Muslims use. You know, halal, you know,
Yes.
before that will profane. So you can see the Arabic words there. This is basically, you know, Arabic that's, you know, modified. And it says, I will profane your sanctuary. You boast and you are arrogant. The delight of Muhammad is in your eyes. But if I do it the other way, it sounds like the delight in your eyes and the desire. It doesn't make sense. And then it ends and says, the lives of your sons and daughters that you have left behind shall fall by the sword. But it sounds more realistic when it says, you boast and you are arrogant, the delight of Muhammad is in your eyes, the lives of your sons and your daughters that you left behind shall fall by the sword. This sounds like a battle in the Middle Ages, where the Mohammedan soldiers went to the front line and the Vatican turned on and threatened them, saying, hey, while you're in the battlefield, we're already behind you in your villages, and we're about to start, you know, deal with your sons and daughters. We're going to, you know, chop their heads off. Yeah, because this is what was going on in the Middle Ages. Yeah. So now let me send you the book of Lamentations, you know, chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. Yeah, I sent you 2 verses here so that then people can see the background of this. Yeah, it turns around and says in this, it turns around and says, he has cut off in fierce anger every horn of Israel. Now, what they've done is they've tried to retranslate that as you know, the horn of Israel or something, and trying to show it's a geography, but there's no evidence of that. Yeah, and then it says he has drawn back his right hand from the enemy. It means God has moved his hand away, and he burned like a flaming fire against Jacob. Now I left this to the previous verse, then you can see, then you will know who Jacob is. Yeah, because Anatoly Fomenko says that the wars in the Middle Ages were Israel against Judah and Islam against Christianity and the Romans. Yeah, and Eastern Rome and Western Rome, it's basically the same thing. So now it says that he burned like a flaming fire against Judah, destroying everything around. He has bent his bow like an enemy. His right hand is standing like an enemy, and he slew all the Mohammedans he saw in the tent of the daughters of Zion. Oh, by the way, do you know what they've translated that as? It's saying he slew all the pleasing of his eyes in the tent.
Okay, yeah.
What the hell is that supposed to be? It's me saying, like, I came into the tent of the daughter of Zion, or God's tent or God's house, and I slew the desire. It's clear this is a battle in the Middle Ages, yes, between the Vatican, the Pope, and their allies against the Mohammedans, and he slew all the Mohammedans he found inside the tent, which is clear. But you know, oh no, Mohammed's an apple. Yeah, so you know, so they're going to translate it as that. But so now let's go through more. Before we go through the context, it's very important, as you can see, yeah, that I put them underlined so that people can see. Yes, and they can check it themselves. Now, this is from in the Bible, Hosea chapter 9, verse 6. And here they've translated the word Mohammed as valuables. Before it's supposed to be a desire, what you wish. Before Mohammed is a wish. This time Mohammed is he's your
It's
valuables.
obvious
Yes.
that they just make up whatever word they want, but it's still interesting and also kind of reminds me of the attributions to Krishna, like the greatest, the sweetest, the most perfected, and so on. So it's interesting that even though they mistranslate it, they give it this like
Ah,
seemingly
yes,
positive spin or
yes,
something. But yeah,
yes. Now the thing is, in the Hindu Vedas, we'll have to go through that separately. Last time we started, but remember, you only had short time. Remember, you said you only had about an hour. That's why I couldn't finish it off. So we'll finish that off a
right.
different day because today we've started from the western side, so I don't want to get
I just
distracted.
wanted to point out this
Yeah,
whole idea about,
yeah.
desire,
No, it's
sweet
good that
and
you did.
pleasant and so
Yeah,
on. And it's
yeah,
it's an interesting
yeah,
choice of words because they could have
yeah,
said it's an apple, but they said desire, pleasant,
yes,
valuables. I
yeah.
just wanted to point that out,
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Yeah, so that's why one day we'll have to finish that topic. That's very important. Or people can read my books. Yeah, that's their choice. Well, anyway, Hosea chapter 9. Here they've translated Muhammad as valuables. Yeah, and they've written it as Mahmad. Yeah, that means the pronunciation Mahmad. No, it just says MHMD. That's how you write Muhammad in Arabic and Hebrew, Muhammad.
Hmm.
Yes. So anyway, here, if you leave the word Muhammad, then the verse will say, indeed, they are gone because of destruction. Egypt will gather them and gather them, it's people. Yes. And Memphis will bury the Mohammeds for their money and silver. Nettles shall possess them and thorns shall be in their tents. But if we put it as valuables, then it turns around and says, Memphis will bury the valuables for the money and silver. How can you bury
Mm,
the valuables? It seemed like I'm going to kill a banana because I want the apples and the oranges.
yeah.
You see, it just doesn't make sense. Even the translations that many people have noticed that they're playing around with translations. All the Bible translations are different. But before, even I probably would have guessed, but guessing is no good. Now I can clearly say they've invented the translations to hide Muhammad. This is one, and also to hide the battles during the Middle Ages. Now, the one that Zakir Naik and Ahmed Didat from South Africa pointed out, only one, yes, and I think the Muslims should have done research in 100 years, and they should have updated things. I don't find no excuse. Many of them have made millions of hours or hundreds of thousands of hours of their preaching videos on YouTube. Yeah, and nobody seems to have confronted this issue. Anyway, they mentioned this is the one that the Muslims mentioned, the Song of Solomon. Here, they've translated the word Muhammad as lovely, or sometimes they translated him as altogether lovely because they're saying the word Muhammad im means plural in modern Hebrew. But
Hmm.
anyway, let's read it out, just leaving Muhammad. It should basically say, his mouth is totally sweet. He is Muhammad, and he is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. Now, if we translated it as lovely, it will say, his mouth is totally sweet. He's lovely, and this is my beloved. Who is he? Oh, by the way, it says Muhammad, so it's him. But let's ignore it and just say he's lovely. In other translations, in American Bibles and in many South African ones, they've just left it as he is altogether lovely. Now, they claim that this is supposed to be plural. And I've heard many Muslims have tried to explain this plural, but they're taking too long. Yeah, because the information that Zakir Naik and what's his name? Ahmed Didat came out with was a long time ago. Yes, and they say im is supposed to represent plural. But I've had an let me send you this. Im does represent plural, but not always. Like Ephraim represents the people of Ephraim. Yes, the sons of Joseph. Yeah, in the Old Testament. But the thing is, it's Ephraim. You could say it's plural because it's his children. But then we've got Amalek in the Old Testament, the Amalekites. Amalek, and Amalek is not always plural. It is not Amalek is not written Amalekim. Yes, it's written as Amalek. Yes, so im doesn't always mean plural, which is a lie. Any Christians and any Jewish people who say this are clearly lying, because you can go to Israel and im does not necessarily mean plural, even with this modern updated version of spoken Hebrew, which is a modern updated version. Did you receive that picture,
Mm-hmm.
Dean? Yes. So now, since we're talking about Ephraim, let me send you in the book of Hosea about Ephraim. Yeah, Ephraim is very special in according to the Bible, and you can find this in the website of Chabad. Chabad, it's a Jewish website that does try to explain things in the Old Testament, and the thing is, he's very special. So now, anyway, this verse they've translated Muhammad as the darlings. Oh, my darling! So
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad should be very special. Why is almost no Christians and no Jews called the name Muhammad? By the way, there was somebody, one Jewish person, because his father was Jewish and his mother was no, his father was Muslim and his mother was Jewish, and he went to Israel, and his name was Muhammad, and they were surprised. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this was a story, in the Israeli media. Yeah, I'm not sure when, but it was, I think, within the last 10 years. Anyway, here's Hosea chapter 9, verse 16. They've translated Muhammad as the darlings. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Muhammad is the darling. He's the darling anyway. Yeah. It says, Ephraim from the children of Israel is struck down. He's been attacked. Their root is dried. And it says, they shall have no fruit. Even if they can, I will kill the Mohammeds in their wombs. They've translated this as I will kill the darlings in their stomach. But then, if they want to translate it as darlings, then we could translate it as the desire or the wish. So you could translate it as I will kill the wish in their stomachs. Is it the wish in their stomach or the Mohammedans in their stomach?
Mm.
It's all these Mohammeds. Yeah, and this is a war in the Crusades because they were fighting every year for 1,000 years, basically. Yes,
So,
basically for 1,000 years, these
just to be clear,
Crusades.
do you really think that this was like a actual perpetual war? Is that realistic, or just
Oh,
skirmishes all the
just
time?
ask people in Austria. Many old people who can still remember from the villages, or in Hungary, Czech Republic, or Slovakia, that there was fighting going on between Muslims and the Habsburg Empire and the Ottoman Empire and the Vatican soldiers. This is well known. People can still remember this. It was actual war. There was actual slaughters. Unfortunately, it's actually very sad that many people can remember these things. And everybody turned around and says Czech Republic, Slovakia, Germany, Hungary, Central Europe would have been totally different. But I will go through this in a minute because you mentioned the context. And this
Mm-hmm.
question, I think, applies to the context. Yeah. Well, anyway, so now these Mohammeds are the children of Ephraim. And Ephraim is the children of Israel. And he's a special child of Israel that, in certain festivals, many people, especially in modern Judaism, they pray that they want to be like Ephraim. Yes. Our people can check this themselves. I don't want to divert. Yeah. Well, anyway, here's let me send you another verse in the Bible. You'll find this suspicious. Yeah, it's got the name Muhammad basically on repeat. Yeah, and they've left it in hidden question marks so that nobody realizes. Yeah. Now here in this
Uh-huh.
verse, I put question marks there, and it is and they've written Modehem instead of it. It actually says basically Muhammad there, and then they've left Muhammad, and then they've put down valuables. Yeah, there. Things like that. So this sentence is very difficult to translate, and then the word Yahweh doesn't necessarily mean God. It could mean He is. Yes. So anyway, it says all her people cry. Whose people? They're looking for bread. Who are they? They have given their who's they, and then it says Muhammad, and they've been given food, to bring them back to life. They're going through starvation. He sees and considers, for I am despised. Who is I? Yes, and then the word Muhammad is basically there, and they put Muhammad, Mo Dehem or whatever. Well, anyway, we've got these question marks there, and guess what? We've got many question marks in the Bible like that where you can't translate these things.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
just a joke. And now, what's even worse? Let me show you this. You're going to think this is just a joke. Yeah, it gets even more ridiculous. Yes, it's not just the word Muhammad. Yeah, what becomes even worse is the word Muslim. Yeah, but yeah, please type this out so that people can see. In some countries, they spell Muslim as
Yes,
like that. In
like
some
in Germany,
countries,
yeah, in German, yeah.
oh, do they? Yeah, some countries spell it Muslim.
Hmm.
Some people spell it Muslim, and some people spell it Muslim. Yeah, and the thing is, for example, in I know that in Serbia, because I've got Serbian friends, and they say Muslimani,
Yes,
Muslimani,
yes.
and it sounds like it's spelled with an E, MESLIM, Muslimani. So it depends. So
Even
now
in
the thing
German,
is,
just briefly, they also say, or the old word of say, old way of saying it would
yeah.
be Muselmann. Muselmann, yeah. So,
Yes. Yes, you're correct. Muslim. Yes. And so now the thing is, they many people say shalom today instead of salam. Yes, I said instead of salam because in basically almost every European language, yes, in every single one, they will say Jerusalem or Jerusalem,
mhm.
Zalam or Jerusalem. Nobody will say Jerusalem. So this means the Hebrew language did not influence the Europeans. They were at the Crusades with the Muslims. Yes. And the Arabic language says Jerusalem. Yes. Darussalam, and it's spelled with a D or a J. Yes. Depending how the Europeans wanted to interpret that. Because, for example, there's a place in Tunisia and they call it Jerba. Yeah. And sometimes they spell that with a D or sometimes with a J. Yeah. These things
Yeah.
linguists have played with on purpose to confuse people. But anyway, here is the word Muslim. Yeah, I've sent it you written in Hebrew. Yeah, it's exactly the same as a word that they now pronounce as the word Meshulam in modern Hebrew. Yes, so now we could say Mushalim, and the thing is, there's no vowels there. So they decided how to pronounce this word. You could pronounce it Mushalam, Meshalam, Mushalam, Mashalim, Mashalum, however you want, or Musalim, Mosalim, Mosalim, Mosulam, Mosulam, however you want. But the word is the same, and it actually means peacemaker or followers of peace. So now
Hmm.
the strange thing is, yeah, the thing is, this word is found in the Bible in many places too, which is a joke. Yes, and the thing is, they've translated this as you know, according to their meanings, and they're saying this is just to refer to people. Yes, there is people today in Israel with that name. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's still used, but I know it was used before anyway. But anyway, here's the second book of Chronicles, and it turns around and says, it says the word Musalim or Mesalam or Masalam or Mosalem, and they pronounced it as Meshulam, as you can see underneath. But they've pronounced it as a sh instead of s. Yes, you see, because they decided this. Yeah,
Hmm.
and it says the sons of Muslim, or is it the sons of the Muslims? Yeah, because in the next thing they put down the sons of the Kohathites and the sons of the Levites, but they're going to say Mushalim was a person. So we can turn around and say Levi was one person, and it's always one person throughout the Bible. But no, they turned around and said Levites became a group of people, and the Kohathites became a group of people. But the Muslims, yes, was not a group of people.
Mm.
Oh no. Oh, when it comes to the word Muslim in the Bible, they were not a group of people. It was just one particular person and his sons, a few. So this is what they're going to say. Now, the thing is, you'll find a similar problem in the way they've translated the word Muslim throughout the Bible. Yeah. Now, let me send you the book of Nehemiah, chapter 3, verse 6. Yeah, I'm going through this because this is within the context, and then I'll explain it. So now here we've got, in this case, yes, it is clear that in this case, yeah, the word Muslim is there. Yes, in this, oh, they pronounce it Mushalam. Yes, if they want to, it's clear that it says Joaida repaired the old gate. Yes, and the son of Pasia and the son of a Muslim of Bosadir. Yes, of Muslim of Bosadir. So that, yes, in this verse, you can say it was a person. But now what is going on? That Muslim is a person and it's a common name? Yes. So what is going on? And this word is in the Bible. Yes, so now, yeah, here we've got, yes, now in this next verse, yes, this one, you cannot say it's a person, it's something else. Here, it turns around and says, yes, you can say it's a person. Here it turns around and says, and the Muslim who, it says Shabbatai, the Muslim who was a Levite, gave them support. Now, this could actually be a Muslim person instead of Muslim as a name, because it says, it's the same like saying, that Muslim guy, that Muslim guy. Yeah, that Muslim guy from America, the New Yorker. Yeah, so here it's saying the Muslim, that Shabbatai, the Levite, yeah, helped them. Yes. So you'll find the word Muslim throughout the Bible as well, which is suspicious. Yeah, because what is this word Muslim doing here? Yeah, and here is what do you call it, from the second book of Kings, and it turns around and says the king, the son of Shaphan, yeah, Shaphan. How they want to pronounce it. Yeah, it says Shaphan, but they will pronounce it Shaban, and they will say this is an Asher. Yeah, it depends, on interpretation of modern Hebrew. Of Azaliah, the son of a Muslim scribe. That now they're going to say Muslim was an actual person. Yeah, same like saying the son of the president's an actual person. But it says the son of a Muslim, whoever this Muslim is. So now we've got a totally serious problem. Yes. What is the word Muslim doing in the Bible? And the craziest thing is, who are all these Mohammeds? Who are these Muslims and these Muslims or Mesulams or Mushalims or whatever you want to call them? Yes. I'm going to send this to you because this is just so serious. Who are these Mohammeds in the Bible? Who are these Mohammeds? Yes. Yes. Do you see? So now the thing is, you turn around and said about the context, and we mentioned Attila the Hun, yes,
Right.
in the past. So as we mentioned Attila the Hun, now the thing is, let's go back to the Huns, yeah, because the thing is, the strange thing is, and now Professor Anatoly Fomenko, yeah, points out, that the kings of Judah and the kings of the Holy Roman Empire, yeah, basically the same. They've just copied them, duplicated them, and they've just modified them and they've played around with them. So now the thing is, the story of the Habsburgs is a total fabrication too. The thing is, Professor Fomenko pointed out that their timeline is a joke too, and it's modified. Yes. So now the question is, many people know that it is blamed on the Habsburgs, that they oppressed Austria and Hungary and Central Europe, and they were doing strange things. Now, the Habsburg doesn't necessarily mean that that was the Holy Roman Empire. Yes, they falsified the history. Well, anyway, the thing is, for example, let's see, when did the Habsburgs come inside the Holy Roman Empire? In the 18th century. We've got Maria Theresa, who married Francis I. And when they married Francis I, all these emperors have got their personal codes as well. Yeah, and the personal codes. Now, this is totally, absolutely crazy. It's suspicious. So now, the suspicious thing is, let me send you this, and even you will think that there is something more going on. That this is according to their timeline. This is 1745, 18th century. Yes, this King Francis I. Yeah. Now, the most craziest thing ever. This is the craziest thing. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just send you this, and let me send you his clothes and his robes. Not the coronation clothes of the Holy Roman Emperors, but this is Francis I's clothes that he commissioned. Now, he's commissioned these robes, and the strangest thing is, even his socks have got Arabic writing on them. What the hell is going on? Yes. What the hell is going on? By the 18th century, shouldn't they have already had Latin or German or something else?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Or Italian or anything. Yeah. So now the thing is, yeah. So the thing is, we've got Maria Theresa, and then the invasions going on into the Hungarian lands. Now, if they're both using Arabic, the Ottoman Empire and these Habsburgs, yes, they're still using Arabic. It's their language. This is the language and the writing of the Holy Roman emperors in the 18th century. Arabic is their language. It's a Germanic language. I'm not going to say it belongs to the Syrians or the Iraqis, because at that time, it belongs to them. They're using it. Even on their socks, we're finding Arabic writing here. Now, the thing is, yes, so now if there's wars going on in Czech Republic and Slovakia, and many people are turning around saying the Ottoman came here, but we can't seem to find the Ottoman went to Czech Republic and Slovakia. But you'll find this information in blogs and in many places. The Hungarians, yes, what is so strange is that the Ottoman Empire withdrew after the 18th century. It wasn't even in Hungary anymore. But many people can still remember the Ottoman was still there. Was it the Ottoman or was it the Habsburgs still using Arabic? You see?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because the German language seems like a modern invention. Well, it is a modern invention. They say it's by poets who invented a language. It seemed like saying, I'm a poet and I'm going to invent a language. So even that history is a fraud, even if I'm a poet. So now the thing is, we've got to, it's a joke. We've got to reconsider what the hell is going on. And then, Professor Fomenko even pointed out that these swords, during the Renaissance and after that,
Right.
of these German soldiers and everything, they've just got Arabic. But now we're even talking even in the 18th century. So when did they start using Arabic, German? And why was Arabic there? Now, the thing is, if somebody's saying I'm pushing Islam, no, I'm not. I'll tell you why. I cannot find Chinese writing here. If I found Chinese writing, somebody will say he's trying to push the Chinese. The Chinese are planning an invasion of the United States and America very soon. They're going to invade Taiwan. Look at what they did in Hong Kong and to the Uyghurs. Somebody's going to say, he's working for the Chinese commies. This is what people are going to say. They're being ridiculous. I'm not working for anyone. This is
I
a
want to say,
serious
if you
question.
would be working for anybody, your views would be a lot more pushed on all the platforms, so
Yes, that's
that's
true.
one simple thing. I mean, you had
Yeah,
the one breakthrough with Andreas, which I was so happy about, the Skull and Bones and Common Cannibals. But yeah, so everyone listening, kindly share the video if you enjoyed, if you think it's interesting, because the
yes.
the system is
Ah,
not giving it the love yet.
I will tell you something now. Actually, many more famous people have asked me for interviews, and the truth is, actually, you will find it if you post on my Facebook. Many people will say I ignore their messages. Actually, it's because I get too many messages, and I've had offers for many interviews. But check this out. Many people I noticed have got an agenda. And
Hmm.
the thing is, I'm not willing to have these interviews if they're going to not focus on facts. If they're going to, it's like the thing is, as you've noticed, after the first interview with Andreas, I've turned around and said, everything I say, you've got to put these pictures on. Yes, I've said this so that people can actually check because I don't want to mislead anybody.
Sure.
If you mislead somebody now, it's still going to be here in 100 years. It's going to create hatred. It's going to create divisions. It's going to create chaos because they've hid that Mohammed's in the Bible in many places. Look at the chaos it's caused. The
Hmm.
chaos, it's
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes. Now it's now the
Yeah,
thing is
because
it's so
just in a
embarrassing.
very simple thing, how could they make these fake religious wars if everyone could say, "Oh, actually, your most important guy from your religion is in our most important book," and vice versa, or whatever. So
Yes.
it would be much harder to create division and all this stuff. Yeah. Hmm.
Ah, do you know what the one thing they know? Yeah, or one thing that they did know when they did this, they changed the languages. This was one of the major reasons why people couldn't check. Because who the hell's going to check Hebrew?
Yeah.
Who the hell's
Yeah.
going to check the
Who's
Latin?
going to learn Arabic? I mean, yeah.
Yes, it's because I'm just a crazy person. Yeah, I classify myself as a little crazy. I bothered to learn many languages, looking at many things. A bit of French, a bit of German, a bit of Spanish, a bit of Italian, a bit of Russian, a bit of Turkish, a bit of Arabic, a bit of Hebrew, a bit of Chinese, a bit of Korean, a bit of what's the other one there? Japanese, a bit of Malaysian. Because I wanted myself to be, international. Yes,
Yes.
it's because I like the world. I'm a people's person. That anybody who sees my travel photos and my books, they'll say he's showing off. Oh, that's my personal life. I can show off in my photographs if I want to. Yeah, and people will say, "Look at this. He's like a playboy. He's with all these girls and things like that." No, when you were younger, you like to when you travel, you like to meet people from all over the world.
Of course.
It's exciting.
It's
It's
natural.
exotic. Yeah, it's natural. It's like there's a Richard Dreyfuss movie called Moon Over Parador. Yes, and he's there trying to portray himself as a dictator. Richard Dreyfuss, Moon Over Parador. I watched that many times, and that inspired me to go to Latin America. And there's a woman there called Madonna Mendez, and it's like it makes you think, I want to be in Latina Americano. And it makes you think the exoticness of the women in Argentina, in Cuba, in Mexico. Why should I lie about it? And then there's movies that when they came out with a Zhang Zi, it was called Hidden Tiger, Crouching Dragon, or something. When
Yes.
I watched that movie got me going. That they showed a Chinese woman and then the martial arts that she's doing,
Yeah.
and then they said in that movie, Xin Cheng Zerlinga, it means a true heart makes a wish come true. Or that yeah, Xin Cheng Zerlinga, that inspired me. Oh, by the way, in the Quran it says God gave you what you wished for. Yeah.
Mm.
So the thing is, I found the Chinese one first, so that inspired me, and it made me think, hey, and the main actress her name was Shalon. Yeah, Shalon. No, one of them, and that was Michelle Yeoh Shalon. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
there was they turned around and said there was a guy from Xinjiang, and from the these Caucasians who are in Western China. And the thing is, but that film was a bit more political because it portrayed them as Western people on their horses, as barbarians, these Germanic people, and the Scythians and many other things.
Mm-hmm.
So, from a Western point of view, many Western critics, I'm not sure if it was in the New York Times or the New York Reporter or one of these places. Yeah, they turned around and said, hey, on there, it portrays Westerners as barbarians, and that China has had a civilization for 5,000 years, that they are civilized compared to us barbarians.
Right.
But anyway,
And just
yeah,
briefly to
let,
say it in the last video, just because you mentioned that about how the different world powers seem to conspire in obfuscation of history. On the Greatest Buddha video, at the very end, I put in a short clip where Trump and Xi Jinping talk, and they basically confirm to each other, yes, China is 5,000 years old. Oh, but the oldest culture is Egypt, 8,000 years old, and you can obviously tell they are both in on the
yeah.
official
Oh,
timeline
I
and the
heard of
world
that.
leaders
I,
agree about
yeah,
this. Yeah, so
yeah. He met in Tokyo. Yes, I think
and
with
this one
Xi
was, I
Jinping.
think, actually in China, but I put it at the end of the video, just
Oh,
the
was it
video
in China?
itself with
Oh, yeah,
subtitles, because you just talk
yeah,
about how they
yeah.
conspire
They
about
add
it,
these
and
things
then
on
you
to show.
you see them
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about it, yeah, confirming it.
yeah, yeah. They will talk like this to make people think, yeah, this is realistic history. Get used to
Also,
it.
because this is a
Whatever.
clip that has like millions views, it's just 2 minutes long, but you can
Oh
tell it
God.
has been pushed, yeah. And they both say, yes,
Yeah,
China
yeah. Of course,
5,000
it's an
years,
agenda.
Egypt 8,000 years, so just confirming the official timeline. They all agree on it, and yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah. So now, a serious question is, who are these Mohammeds in the Bible? Now, many people are going to, because in the West, there's many people who realistically have a racist mentality, which I'm going to be honest about. They look at people by skin color, brown, white, green, blue, and they do look down on the Middle East, which is not their fault. Hollywood and other people have made sure of these things.
Right.
But anyway, if we're going to have a look at the Middle Ages at the time, that that the Bible is referring to, yes, we will notice who these Mohammeds are. Yes, and the Mohammeds were described as people in Northern Europe. Yes, where these Saracens and these Mohammeds and these Muslims were described as Hungarians or Huns. Also,
Mm-hmm.
not just the Middle East people. So this means Mohammed is not a race, and it's not the Arabs. It was a certain group of people, and these Muslims who are in the Bible, yes, and these Mohammeds are not just Middle East people and not just Turks, how people are going to imagine. Yes, because when we look at many works during the Renaissance and after, we can see that what do you call it, when the Vatican invades, Hungary under the Habsburgs, which it might not actually be the Holy Roman Empire. It might have been the Vatican, and they used the name and they changed it
Hmm.
and said it was the Holy Roman Empire. Because now the strange thing is, because the Holy Roman Empire is still using Arabic in the 18th century. But then the Hungarians will say, hey, that it was the Ottomans who oppressed us as well. So the
Yes.
Vatican must also have been using, yes, Arabic at that time while they invaded.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So the thing is, anyway, so this is
And just
strange. So
one
now,
sentence, just one sentence to point out, there is apparently a speech, everyone can look this up easily, by Churchill about the Second World War, where he is referring to the Germans as the Huns. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah, because it wasn't called Germany, and they've invented a history, and they call it Prussia. We can't even find a Prussia.
Hmm.
The history of the 19th century is just a total forgery. Yes, and they gave it the name Germany only in the 19th century, and then it became common and started being used in the 20th century. It seemed like I'm going to give Europe the name and call it South Africa, and then everybody gets used to calling Germany South Africa. After 100 years, everyone says, "Hey, this is South Africa. North
Wasn't there
Africa is
even
in
an
Johannesburg."
official requirement in the beginning that German products had to be labeled as made in Germany? And of course, this
Yeah.
would, help the meme that it's now Germany and the whole world knows it as
Yes.
Germany. Yeah.
Everybody knows that even in the 60s and 70s, half the people in Germany couldn't speak German. They learnt it in the school. This is recent. People know this, so it's something that they can't hide. Yes. Um, you know, and they've tried to say it's from German dialects. I'll go through Germanic dialects later. Let's not
Hmm.
divert from the context. So now we've got this Holy Roman Empire during the Middle Ages. Yeah, and they say it's made by a guy called Saliman. Yeah, in English, they put down on Wikipedia that you pronounce it Salimane or Solomon. Yes. Well, anyway, it's basically ruling, Central Europe. Yes, basically ruling Europe. Yeah, and so you pointed out, yes, that during World War II. So it shows that Churchill, even in 1940, 1950, it was still known as the Huns until they learnt this new German language. So now the thing is, what do you call it? Yeah, the word German actually came from the Vatican. I've just sent you this page. It seemed like the Vatican is going to call Germany. Imagine tomorrow morning they decide to call it, um, let's say Frankfurt, the whole country, and they could change the name. So it's like, or me, I'm going to call you. Let me think now. I'm going to call you um, Microsoft. Even if you don't
How
like it or not, your
flattering.
name is Mr. Microsoft. You're called Mr. Microsoft. And you say, what the hell? I've never heard of this word. It's nothing to do with a person. So they gave it the name Germany during the Renaissance. But it didn't start getting used until the 20th century. So now the thing is, everybody knows that the Germans were called Huns for centuries. They were called Huns for centuries, no matter what. And so now some German nationalists who do know this will say Attila the Hun was a German. They're a minority. But the Hungarians will say Attila the Hun was Hungarian. Okay, he was a Hun. And the thing is, I'm not going to get into politics or nationalism here, but the definition of Hun was the people of Central Europe, and they were called the Mohammeds. They were known as the Mohammeds, and they were ruled by the Holy Roman Emperor. And as we can see, the Holy Roman Emperor, even in the 18th century, even his socks have got Arabic writing on.
Mm.
That shows how much that Arabic was their language. They were the Mohammeds, as well as the Turks, as well as these Arabs. So the Mohammeds were not a race; it was a group of people. This is one thing. Yeah. So I put down even the war points. The war. Even in the United States. Yes, when they had the language war against the Germans. This is in my book Adolf Hitler. The immigrants who were coming from Germany, Holland was classified as Huns too, and northeastern France too. They just turn around and call them, it's these Huns. They call them Huns. Yes. And the thing is, they call them Huns. And the thing is, the war was against them. They called them barbarians because they refused to become Christians. Now, some people have tried to dispute that the word Aliman means means the men of Allah, and they've tried to dispute and say it means all men. Oh, because they're going to go through a few old German words. We can go through many old German words and compare them to Arabic, and mysteriously, they're basically the same. I found this. It's not because I want to say it's to do with Allah, but even German words like Allmächtig, or however they pronounce
Yes,
it, or
allmächtig,
Allwissend,
almighty,
yeah,
yes.
or Allwissend,
Allwissend,
or
allwissend,
yeah,
yes. All-knowing.
and Allgegenwärtig or whatever.
Allgegenwärtig, yes. Ever-present, yes.
Yes, all present. Yes, yeah, yeah. So in English we say all powerful, all knowing. Yes. So all man. Yes. In Arabic dialects actually means men of Allah or men of God. So now for God, it was all something. And then we've got Alleluia means, what do you call it? Praise to Allah. Or they're going to say it means praise Yahweh. I don't see Yahweh anywhere in this sentence at all. Yes. But they're going to say, this pronunciation has changed or been modified. Where? We can't seem to find it. We cannot find it pronounced in a single village or a single township in the entire European continent. It's hallelujah and it's alleluia. And in the entire Middle East or the entire Islamic world, it's still alleluia or ya Allahu. They say it
Yeah,
backwards.
in
Yes.
in the versions I know, they just added an H to the beginning, which is the typical thing. Add a silent letter to obfuscate. It's
Yeah.
hallelujah in
E-
German,
Even,
but yeah. Hmm.
but yeah, yeah. Oh, they added the H on. Yes, like with Halig's Roman Empire or Halla's Roman Empire, Halla's Romanish Empire, Holy Roman Empire, or it should actually be Allah's Roman Empire. This is another thing.
Then what
Yeah,
about,
but
sorry,
anyway,
not
so
to
that's
divert, but then just thinking about the Greeks, that don't they call them Hellas, or isn't there something about
yeah,
Hellas there?
Allah's. Yes, yes, there is. It's because but we'll have to go through the Greek history another
Yeah,
time.
yeah, just
Yes,
mentioning, yeah.
and with the Arvanitas, Arvaniticus or whatever, and they've turned it into a political issue. So now another thing, if somebody's going to turn around and say they're going to think, hey, he's preaching Islam here. I'm not preaching Islam. Yeah, the thing is, it's because we found these symbols throughout Germany, and the thing is, I stand by it. Yes, the Alpha and the Omega, yes, is an A. Yeah, is an A, and it's not the letter E, and it's not the letter U. It is not the Alpha and the Omega. And in written form, yeah, you could find it online, the cursive, because they make it hard to find. If you put down written Alpha and the Omega, you've got to put down the official word. Alpha and Omega, cursive. Type into Google, Yahoo, or wherever you wish. And in the cursive form, it's written exactly the same as cursive Allah. Yes, yes. And it's exactly
Hmm.
the same as the Allah, and it's the same thing, Alpha and the Omega. The Muslims have the Alpha and the Omega, and it's pronounced Allah, not Ilah, Ilah Lama, how they tried to pronounce it in the Bible. In Christianity, it's a total fraud. Yes, and in Judaism, it's a total fraud. They're saying it's Elah or Ilah. Yes, when it's clearly Allah. And this was the symbol of the German people, and they're calling them barbarians and pagans. I don't see anything pagan in this. Yeah, that we find this throughout Northern Europe. Yeah. So now the thing is, it's totally suspicious. What is going on in northern Germany, and another strange thing is, yes, let's go through the Bible. Yes, let's continue the context to do with Mohammed and the Middle Ages and everything. In the Bible tells you where you're going to find Jerusalem. Yes. I like this one.
Hmm.
Now the thing is, yeah, Professor Fomenko's pointed this out too. Yes. So now the thing is, now the children of Israel have been captured. Yes, it's called the captivity, Babylonian captivity. And the most famous Bible, or the Bible that was used throughout, they claim during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, and they've changed it as many times as they could. And the final versions in the 18th century, but they will claim that this is Jerome's version, St. Jerome's version, the Vulgate from the 3rd century. This is what historians say. So now if we stick to what they've said, this is the 3rd century Bible. Okay, this means for the last 1,700 years, it says in the Bible, in Obadiah, in the book of Obadiah, it says Jerusalem is in the Bosphorus. Oh, there's going to be some people who are going to be disputing with this. So now let's have a look at the modern Bible. I like the way these people dispute with their forgeries and their translations and playing around with words. Yeah, because I studied many languages, I had a look at Spanish, Hebrew, everything. It's difficult to brainwash somebody like me. But the average person might fall for it. So please don't fall for it. Check it out yourself in several languages. So now it turns around and says that the sons of Israel have been taken captive. Yes, and who shall possess Jerusalem? So now here it says Jerusalem. Yes, they're going to say it says Shalom. Yes, but it says Jerusalem, or the city of Salem. And it turns around and says the city of Salem. Instead of putting Bosphorus there, they've written it in, to pronounce in modern Hebrew as Bisfarad. Now they're going to claim that Bisfarad means the Sepharadi Jews. And then they've translated the other part as the cities of the Negev. It doesn't say Negev, it says Hanegib. And it doesn't even say Hanegib. It depends how you pronounce that too. So this verse is a total mess. Now it turns around and says Bosphorus. Now the thing is, when Jerome wrote this, he made it clear. And during the Middle Ages, and in the Middle Ages, all the Vulgate Bibles and many of the Bibles, well, if you want to say all, I don't know, maybe they've modified a few of these manuscripts. They always do. So I don't want to say all. It generally says that Jerusalem is at the Bosphorus. So I thought I will have a look through the Middle Ages. Yes. Yeah. And I will have a look at Hebrew. Yes. And I couldn't find. Yes. And many other researchers checked this too. They couldn't find it too. So it's not just me. Yes. I've checked this myself. Yes. That if they're going to play with games, yes, and say this word says Sepharadi or the Sephardi Jews. Yes, to say this, many Christians, evangelicals will say this now. So now let's have a look at the Sephardi Jews. The Sephardi Jews turned up in Spain in the Middle Ages. And Sephardi in Hebrew means Spain. So this means Jerusalem's in Spain now. Yes, I can debate how they want to debate. Evangelicals and what do we call it? Christians and Jewish people and everybody else, and even Muslims who are going to try to defend this. I've noticed many Muslims sticking with the official history. Yes, because they've been taught this. But the thing is, Sepharadi turned up for the name for Spain in the Middle Ages. So this means this Bible in this book of Obadiah and is actually the Middle Ages. Because now they're saying this means the word Sepharad. Now Spain was what do you call it? Mysteriously, it was Muslim.
Yeah.
During the Middle Ages, and then these so-called Sepharadi, they're saying Sepharadi Jews, but then the Muslims, whoever survived, ran to Ottoman territories, and they went to Istanbul. But mysteriously, at the same time, these Sepharadi Jews went to Istanbul at the same time. This is something to note. Yes. So was this verse in Obadiah is talking about the captivity and the war? Was this a war in the Middle Ages against the Sephardi, and they had to run and they had to go to Jerusalem at the Bosphorus? Now let's not focus just on there. So now what I did, I thought I'm going to go through a few more things. And the Turkish, many, not all, many Turkish nationalists and other people are going to say, the word Bosphorus is from a Turkic word. Yes, some people will say it's Arabic. Some people will say, it's Hebrew. It was an international word, and Arabic was the global language during the Middle Ages for communication. Yeah. Anyway, so I thought I'll have a look at in Arabic in Wikipedia, and I found that the word to travel in the sea is two words. It's bar sefar, and that's where the word bar sefar came from. Bosphora, yes. In Greek, Bosphorus, yes. Greek and Latin, they've added the us on, so in English you'll say Bosphorus, yes. So it's Bosphor, yes. So now the thing is, what is so now in Arabic? It means travel. Sephar means travel. So now the strange thing is, I thought I'll have a look at the so-called Holy Roman Empire, which is using Arabic. This is very important because we seem to find all these Arabic coins in Northern Europe that doesn't make sense. And the evidence shows hundreds of millions of Arabic coins were used in Northern Europe. Yeah, so what I did was Every time I look at Arabic words now, I'm always looking in Germanic words, always. Yeah, because the thing is, they're going to say there's no relationship, and these what do you call it? German has got no relationship with Arabic. So now, when you look at the English word seafaring and the Dutch word seafaring and the German word seafaring and the Scandinavian word for seafarer, yeah, is actually Sephar,
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
same as Arabic. Yes. In other words, Arabic was the language of the Huns or the language of the Germanic people. Yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
because their words are exactly the same. So now they're going to say the Germans are going to insist Sephar is our word. Oh, the Arabs are going to insist, no, it's our word. It's actually both. There
Yeah.
was an international common
Mm-hmm,
language.
mm-hmm,
Yes.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the thing is, these are the things. So now the thing is, another thing is, so Latin, yes, Latin, they're going to say it's ours. Yes. So now a sea, the sea separates waterways. Yes. So now in Latin, yes, the word sephar actually means separate or divide.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Bosphorus divides Europe from Asia. So now Istanbul is located at the place of water or water travel or seafarer, and it's located at the place, yes, where the division of the continents between Europe and Asia. Yes, I've sent you this last picture. Have a look. So Jerusalem is located there at that place. Now let me show you about the Ottoman Empire and the so-called Holy Roman Empire, and the thing is, this is where it gets suspicious. Yeah, because when Anatoly Fomenko pointed out that what do you call it, the timeline of Judah and the Holy Roman Empire is basically the same. Look at this. Who founded the? Who was the first official founder and king of the Holy Roman Empire? His name was Otto. Oh, his
Mm-hmm.
name is Otto, and
Mm-hmm.
they called him Ottoman.
Mm-hmm.
They called him Ottoman, but to differentiate between the Turks, yeah, they called him Ottonian or Ottonan, the Ottoman dynasty, like Mohammedan dynasty, Ottonan. But everybody knows it's Ottoman dynasty. Yeah, but to differentiate, they wrote Ottoman dynasty of these German emperors. So the Holy Roman Empire is the Ottonans. Yes. Now the thing is, who are these Ottomans? Now let's see. The founder of the Ottoman Empire, he's called Otto or Ottoman or Utman in Turkish or Usman in the Arabic version or Arabic Turkish. Now the thing is, many people have noticed that the Ottoman and the Ottoman Empire probably split during the Middle Ages, and it was a civil war going on between them. And then the Vatican got involved. And then the thing is, Fomenko points out the duplicates in the German coronations, the Holy Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way he always used alleged 13th century.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way he's always using the word alleged instead of allegations, whoever their translator was. This is really good because it is just a joke that they've invented this history. So now another strange thing is, oh, the first non-official Holy Roman Emperor was Charlemagne. We'll go through that in a minute. So now let's go through more. So Professor Fomenko says it's Judah, or yeah, and it's got to do with the history of the Israelites. So now the thing is, the Ottoman dynasty, yes, they call it was the imperial house of Osman. Osman. So now then, when we go through Judea and the history of Judea, they turn around and say the Hasmon dynasty was the official dynasty that ruled Judea at the time of Jesus Christ. Can you believe this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And what did the Hasmon dynasty do when Herod took over? He killed all his, family, exterminating everybody from the dynasty of Hasmon. Oh yeah, when when the Usman Sultan took over, when he conquered Jerusalem or Istanbul, he conquered everybody in his family, so that there's no competition. The stories are basically the same, the duplicates. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So as you go through it, it's duplicates, but as you can see, they've totally invented this history. Now the thing is, let's go through a few more Germanic words, yeah, and then people will find this totally suspicious. Now let's go through a few cathedrals. Many people don't check this in cathedrals. Yes, but when you check cathedrals out, what you will find, um, is they tell you something, but they don't explain what is going on here. They turn around and say to you, um, that in the Germanic languages, yeah, the cathedrals have their arches, and the arches and the construction technique, the arches is known as ribs in masonry, and they call
Hmm.
these ribs rib vault, yes, or ribs. They basically call them ribs, and they're called great arches, like great arches, and in the Indo-European languages, yes, um, for great arches or great ribs, it would be Maharib. Yeah, I
Okay.
checked in most Indo-European languages. You can open the Macmillan dictionary online and you'll find the word maha means very big or very great. And the word rib, yeah, like rib cages or the rib arches, it's throughout all the way for throughout, we're talking starting from Bangladesh all the way to the other side to Spain, or you could say from Russia all the way to Portugal, or from you could say, India to England. Yes, these are the Indo-European languages. So now these great ribs, Maharib. Yes. So now the strange thing is nobody mentions these Maharibs. Yes, but they're on these Gothic cathedrals, and nobody will think, why are they calling them ribs? Yeah, and the strange thing is when we look at these Gothic cathedrals, yeah, obviously they've added the second layer on these churches. Fomenko pointed out for Cologne Cathedral, and here's Notre Dame Cathedral. And outside Notre Dame Cathedral, they'll say somebody else built this, but they don't tell you. But it's a secret that Solomon, his statues outside that building, and nobody mentions this, but except Victor Hugo. Yes, and anyone who knows Charlemagne, they will try to say it's Carlos Magnus. Yeah, and then they'll say it's Carlos. But these are invented words. It's Charlemagne. Yes, yes. Now the strange thing is when we look at these grand rib vaults, yes, and yes, or maharibs, yeah, they're on all these churches. Yes, and the thing is, many people have found the construction of churches very suspicious, and let me show you an example. And some people, yeah, official historians have tried to explain this. Yeah, but let me show you the questions. Yeah, so now they turn around and say that Sarliman, yeah, Sarliman, I call him Solomon, Sarliman, same thing. Yes, they turn they turn around and said Sarliman, he was an equivalent of Solomon, and his father Pepin. Anybody can check this out online. So-called manuscripts from the Middle Ages, but I think they were made in the 17th, 18th century. They say Sarliman's was another Solomon, and they say his father Pepin, Pepin the Short, was another David. In fact, I'll send you this now, or people will think I'm just making it up. They turn around and said Sarliman, yeah, Sarliman, he was actually Solomon. But they say, oh no, he was a new one. He was a different one. This guy, yeah. So now the thing is Sarliman. The thing is here, and they said he's the founder of the new Israel. Oh, once again, yeah. Check through these Vatican documents, and then they said he was basically similar to King Solomon, and his family was exactly basically the same. And Fomenko, when you check through the timelines, it's the same. And his father, King David, oh, he was the new king of Israel. Can you see it's suspicious? Oh yeah, and then let's see what even official historians can't deny this, that they even say it officially because there's just too much evidence, and they know people like Fomenko are speaking about it. Yeah, Charlemagne's empire divided into three parts or three, four factions, same like the kingdom of Israel divided into three, four factions after King Solomon's death, and then it eventually became two kingdoms, and these two kingdoms are today called France and Germany. Oh, by the way, Israel split into two kingdoms called Israel and Judah. Yes, it's
Hmm.
just a repeat of histories. Yes, it's just the same thing. Now the reason why Charlemagne is important because Charlemagne built a great temple. Yeah, actually, this stuff's going very deep, actually, and he built it. It's going very deep, but this is in my book. What do you call it? Jerusalem is in Europe. Now the thing is, there's many people. I put down Jerusalem is in Europe, and it's suspicious, the Arabic and everything, because here, when you have a look at the inside of Aachen Cathedral, yeah, it's basically the same as the Dome of Rock. a lot of the artwork and everything else. Anybody who goes there, the arches, the masonry, everything is basically the same. Yeah, octagonal shape and everything else. Yeah, and then what's even worse is, yeah, let me send you, you know, the coronation clothes of the Holy Roman Emperors. Yeah, and the artwork in the cathedral is basically the same style and is identical and similar. That many professors have pointed this out, that this is suspicious. The Dome of the Rock, let me show you which building is this, because this is very important, because many Christians and Jews want to demolish this building. Yes, they want to demolish this. And the thing is, from my personal research, what I found is that this building has got something to do with the Germans and the Germanic peoples. Yeah, this building. Oh, now these evangelicals and many modern Jews, they want to demolish this building. Yeah, because they're claiming that Solomon's temple is over there and that that place is Jerusalem. But let me just send you these things again, just to remind you that when we look at Renaissance paintings, oh, you will see many people go to museums, and many people can't understand, and they say, hey, there's so many boring people that go to these museums and they're staring at paintings for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but they know why they're staring. It's like, for example, here is from the Italian Renaissance artist Raffaello. Yes, number 1 and number 2 by Marco Bassetti. They're from the 16th century, maybe even 17th, because they've lied about the dates. That they show that Jesus Christ is getting crucified, you know, in at the Bosphorus. Yeah, and the Bosphorus is Istanbul, by the way. Oh, in case many people don't know where the Bosphorus is, it's in Istanbul. So we've got many of these medieval and Renaissance paintings, and after the Renaissance, yeah, let me send them again, because many people would have forgotten, and they're thinking, they're probably thinking, you know, why is David repeating it? But the thing is, people should know this. The crucifixion of Jesus Christ, Jews Van Cleef. Oh, he's from Holland. Even in Holland, they claim he's 15th century, but this could be even from the 17th century. And what we can see is that we've actually got buildings that are found in Istanbul at the same geographical, you know, same geographical landscape, that one building is above the other, you know, where it's on a slant. That we could find that same building today. It's in Istanbul, and this Istanbul was Jerusalem, you know, where Jesus Christ did his pilgrimages, and he went to the Temple of Jerusalem. That's where it was. Now, even the Bible says it's at the Bosphorus. Yeah. So what can I say? But now they're trying to tell us. Let me just show you what this place in the Middle East, the so-called Jerusalem, even looks like even 100 years ago. That somebody's going to start laughing. Just have a look at this. Here is a photograph from around 1900 of the so-called Jerusalem that they're telling us this is Jerusalem. Yeah, yeah. This is a photograph of Jerusalem in the year 1900. Now, anybody who has a look at this, is just one district, and its population at that time was maximum 15,000 people around that time. Only 15,000 people. And then in 1800, it only had 10,000 people. Now, if we count 15,000 people, we've got to say, you know, about 25% is elderly, 25% is under the age of 15, their children. Yeah. So, and 25% is women and 25% adult men. That means there's only 3,000 men in that location. And they're telling us this is the Great Jerusalem. The area around it looks like a desert. There's many photographs people can see, just a desert where there's no food there or anything. And they're telling us, yeah, that even, is it Josephus or somebody else? That they said millions of pilgrims went there during the Middle Ages. Let's see who turned around and said it. I forgot if it was Josephus or other people. That these Herodotus and other people, yeah, turned around and said, but his documents are a forgery. There's no evidence they're old. They're saying millions of Jewish pilgrims are going to that place where the Muslims have a mosque today, and they call it the Dome of the Rock. Yeah, and they're telling millions of pilgrims went there. Jesus Christ went that way. Whoa, millions? Wait 1 minute. How can millions of people come there and sleep there? Oh, by the way, that location is does not have the same weather like the Middle East. That place is cold, by the way. It's not like Tel Aviv. Yeah, that place is cold, same like Manchester is cold in winter. I'm being serious. I felt the cold there myself, that I had to wear extra clothing there. It's very cold. Where are these people sleeping? There's no water there. Where are they drinking water? How are you going to have a food supply for millions of pilgrims in that place? Look at that picture carefully. Look at that picture. They're telling us that there's millions of pilgrims and things. And then they're telling us there's so many crusades there. Yeah, just look at the wall. They're telling us that there were crusades there for 1,000 years fighting over that place. No offense or anything, it's like saying people are fighting for it's like if you were going to fight for garbage, yeah, or are you fighting for gold?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Mm?
yeah. So now another thing is, check this out. Now they've turned around and said, we've just found the road that Jesus Christ went with millions of pilgrims. Now on that road they've just found it, and you can see it's not wide enough for millions of pilgrims, and you can even find the construction photos. Oh yeah, many multimillionaires were involved in constructing this place.
Hmm.
In the last 20 years, and they're telling millions of pilgrims went there. Yeah, that it's just a joke that you can even see them building this road. Yeah, and they hid it. Yeah, they hid it. Like covering it up while they were building it because the local Muslims were objecting to it. And anyway, they're going to turn around and say, what do you call it? Yes, Jesus Christ and his buddies and everybody went through Hezekiah's tunnel. But unfortunately, many people don't know about Hezekiah's tunnel. Let me just tell you, in case you are one of these evangelicals that you want to go through the tunnel, you're welcome to go through there. Yes. And now the thing is, if anybody wants to bother checking, it was just a sewage tunnel for several centuries of the local Arabs. They did their toilet there. Their oh shit. Yes, they were doing that, and
And
the
now it's
sewage
a
went through there.
pilgrimage tunnel, or what do you mean?
It's a sewage tunnel,
Yes,
by the
yes,
way.
but
Yeah.
now it's a pilgrimage tunnel. Is this the one they use,
When you
or?
say sewage, you know what? The thing is, because I don't want to say it, yes, but that's what it is, And the thing is, they sent things through there all the way through till the 20th century, the beginning of the 20th century. Oh, do you know what they're going to say? Don't worry, that is dry, and you can now walk through the 2,000-year-old
I mean, what a mockery.
Herodian.
What a mockery.
Uh, I, oh wait, it's even worse now. When you know these things, they're trying to tell us that this is where King David, the rest of them, and everybody else went through these tunnels. Let me just show you a few more things. Yeah, and I just want to show you a few evangelicals. The thing is, and you're going to think, I cannot believe this. Are you being serious? Now let me show you where this tunnel goes through, and you can even see the old pictures that this was the sewage pipeline from this village. Oh yeah, the Muslims call it Quds, and they've said this place ain't Jerusalem. What are you talking about? Yeah, yeah. So now the sewage tunnel went through to a place called Silwan, and today they've built it through there. But today there's many houses there because the population has grown. Today there's 600,000 people living there. If we say that the people who went to live there, from Europe and America, South America, and the Middle East and other places, because there's been Jewish immigration there, then the local population is probably about 200,000. Yeah, yeah. So now, anyway, so in that place, it went through the area where they dumped their plot or their toilet. When the toilet went through there, it went to there, exactly there. So now they're turning around that Jesus Christ, King David, the rest of them started their sewage there. No, started their pilgrimage there. And I will explain to you what is the fighting going on in the Middle East. Now, the thing is, it's very unfortunate. It's very sad. So let's not laugh. Now, the Muslims are turning around, and they're turning around saying, "What is this? Why the hell are you making such a big deal about this sewage tunnel?" And now millions of people, or they want millions of people to come and start coming this way, saying, "Jesus Christ went this way." Think of all these Catholic Christians who are going to go crazy. These Canadian
Sure.
evangelicals, Singaporean Christians, from the Australian evangelicals who were singing, "Oh, come all ye faithful." And they're singing, "Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King." Oh, I love that song. Nobody can ever take that away from me. Yeah, I really love that song. I've always loved that song. I've even got an MP3 of it. But I'm not going to make up history that now this history, forgery of history, is leading to that they're actually beating up children. They're actually demolishing houses, and people are getting hurt.
Hmm.
Yes. And the local people are saying save our houses here, because now, because of the evangelicals and Jewish and Christian population who really believe that this place, these sewage tunnels and the sewage path, um, is where Jesus Christ and other people went through. They really believe this, but they really believe this. So now they want to demolish lots of local people's homes,
It
but
reminds
they
me
just
again of the attack of the toilets. These people seem to have something with that, like Al Qaeda, like you mentioned last time. It's
oh, they're doing this on
related
purpose.
themes,
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah, yeah. The people in power, they're actually taking the Mickey. Yeah, they're taking the prize.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why they're doing this is because, have a look. You could read this in the newspapers everywhere. The tunnel previously was a sewage system, of the local Arabs. Oh, when they go to the toilet, these local Arabs are putting through this. But now these Europeans are going to come, and they're going to say, throw these Arabs out. They're actually saying this,
right.
and many people who've gone to live there, and they call these places holy. This is holy.
Mm.
Yes, this is very holy. Yes. So now they're walking through this, but wait, let me just show you more. It's actually so ridiculous that if you actually saw this, that what do you call it? That it went through this. That actually that the gates that by the time you reach the gates to go through the city that the Muslims call Quds, and that now it's known as internationally as Jerusalem. That by the time you arrive to the mosque, or what they call Temple Mount, it goes to the Muslims called it Silwan Gate. But on purpose, the evangelicals, Christians, and Jews called it the Dung Gate, or the toilet shit gate. I'm being serious to you. They already know, but I don't. And they're saying this is to match what it says in the Bible. Can you believe this?
Wow, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And then, what's even more? Let me just show you. They're even saying, "Don't worry, this toilet things are actually dry." So now, underneath the Temple Mount, the British don't care. They when they're in the 19th century and in the 20th century, they checked out many times what is supposed to be there under the Temple Mount. Yeah. Especially on the on the western side, where the Western Wall is. Yeah. And the thing is, British engineering officers, they went there, they were digging there. Yeah. And what they found was it's full of sewage, toilet, you know, under the Temple Mount on the western side.
Hmm.
Or now many people are going to the wall to pray.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll talk about the wall next time, but let me just show you more about these waters. Yeah. About the waters, it's actually it's just a total ridiculous joke. Let me just find this. Yeah, so that people can see this properly. Yes. So now this place is known as Silwan. Yeah, and now many people call it. They turn around and say this is the biblical pool of Siloam. They've tried to make it similar, or Siloam. But anyway, they turn around and say, what do you call it? Archaeologists, when they first found this place in the last 20 and 30 years, it was known about before, but when these walls, there are 3 meter tall walls around that place of just old sewage. It's nothing but sewage. NBC News. Yeah, I've
Hmm.
sent it to you. History News Network. Yeah, it's the sewage line for Jerusalem's old city. Or it's not even an old city. They're lying. It was a village. 3,000 men. Or even 2,000 men in the 1800s. 2,000 men. You know what I mean? Even a football stadium has,
Yeah.
40, 50, 60,000 people. Well, anyway, let's check out what they've started doing here. Now they're saying at this pool, yes, the pool is where all the toilet stuff went. Yes. And the Temple Mount pumped it out. Yeah, remember last time we showed that the Dome of Rock actually is exactly the same like these buildings that are pumped. So now many people today, evangelicals, Christians, and Jews, they go to this sewage pipe at the end of the sewage pipeline where the toilet stuff was dumped, and they go there. And do you know what they're doing? They're drinking this water.
Wow.
They're drinking this water that has got centuries of the local Arab toilet stuff came through this pipeline. They're drinking this
I mean,
water, they're
honestly,
washing their faces
this
with it.
really shows, just very briefly, but it really shows like a mockery and a disdain by whoever, whatever force made all of this up, that
Yes,
no matter which religion you belong to, they, as you say, take the mickey on you or whatever. It's
yes.
really, yeah. And this is so important just to
But
briefly,
let's have a look at
yeah,
how serious this is.
yeah,
Then it shows that it's not just a mockery. There must be a lot of hatred there.
indeed,
If
yeah,
it, that many people think that the people in power in Europe and America, United States, the Vatican, everybody, oh, they are going to protect the Christians and Jews. Look at this now. Here you can see people, tourists from Europe and America, who have gone there, and many Jewish and Christian people go there. They're washing their faces, and some people actually have an entire bath with this water. Not a bath, they just get it in a bottle and they pour the water all over their body. They actually take their clothes off. Yes, they're doing this right now.
mm,
Yes, and this water came through this. And not only this, many Jews and Christians, they dress up. Yeah, they dress up in Old Testament clothes, which mysteriously just looks the same like the Muslim clothes. You know, when the Muslims go to today it's called Hagiga or however you want to pronounce it, which is Hag or Hajj, the Muslims call it. The Muslims go to Mecca. Now, these people say they want to do it. Evangelicals, Christians and Jews and Catholics and everybody else, they want to do it. So what they're doing is, you can find pictures on Google. Yes, what they're doing is they're putting this water in pots, carrying it, drinking it, washing themselves with it, and this is coming um, through the sewage pipeline of the local Arabs' toilets, that they did for centuries.
mm-hmm.
Yes. Can you believe this? And they're telling you, don't worry, the toilet is dry. What the hell is going on? Yeah, as you can see, it's a total mockery. That the thing is, if by the time people investigate this, that one, it's a mockery. Two, it's an insult against
Yeah,
humanity.
yeah,
I'm not. So if I turn around and say against Christianity and Judaism, somebody will say, or against Islam, it looks like I'm supporting them. I'm not supporting Christians or Jewish people here. Yeah, but they should ask themselves, hey, this water is coming through the toilet, sewage, garbage for centuries of the local Arabs, and they sent it this way, and now they're telling you, don't worry, it's dry. Yeah, and let's just have a look at a few scientific reports. Yeah, that they found it was just full of sewage. That what do you call it? There's many reports that people have done. They've just put it in took it in bottles and they've just took it to laboratories, and this water has actually got the toilet plot.
yeah,
The toilet
sure,
crap. Yeah.
sure, yeah,
So
of course.
let me just, and the thing is, this is something that is not new. Yeah, it's been known for a long time. Let's see, thousands of. Oh yeah, this is what they're telling you. Yeah, that when you're walking along this way, they're advertising this. Yeah, it's just a plot to make money, because don't forget, tourism makes money. The flight tickets, you arrive there, the hotels, you're spending money there. They're saying this is the way that millions of pilgrims, yeah, that what do you call it? And they say, what does it exactly say? Let's see, Herodian Street. Yeah, they're saying this is the drain that took the stormwater and sewage. What it means, stormwater is, when you flush your toilet, it's coming pretty fast. Yeah, and they're saying, what do you call it? Thousands of Jews 3 times a year walked this way, and they're saying Jesus Christ almost certainly walked through here.
Mm,
Can you see the type of brainwashing? Yeah,
yeah,
and we cannot find no ancient city here. Yes, even the Jerusalem Post. Yeah, let's see, the Jerusalem Post. They even say this is called the Dung Gate or the Toilet Crap Gate. Yeah, this ends up there. Do you know what I mean? It's not something. And then where do you call it? Where does it go to? It goes to the Western Wall or the Wailing Wall. All this information you'll find it in my books, The Crusade, The Last Crusade, and what's the other book called? Um, um, what's it called now? Jerusalem is in Europe, and Skull and Bones. And the thing is, it's divided in the book, so people have to go through that. But anyway, they've invented these names. they've totally invented these names that what do you call it? The local people didn't call it the Dung toilet gate or anything. It was known as Silwa gate, you know, and now they're trying to equate it and say it's something else. Like this city wasn't even called Jerusalem; it was called Quds. It's like anybody who goes to the entire region, yeah. It's like for example, let me just show that you get told this is the biblical place of Hebron. Oh, let me show you how these people changed the names of these places. Like here is in modern Israel today, and here is when the British were there. Yeah, it's like you got to call this Jerusalem, or when you print it on your ID cards, it's got to write the words Jerusalem,
Right.
things like that. So you know these people were forced. Yeah, the local people. So now the thing is, let's have a look what they've started to call what they've said. All the local name places, they've changed all the name places. Like for example, if somebody reads the Bible, people, all these so-called end days Christian and Jewish evangelicals and Orthodox and Catholics, yeah, what they're doing is they're praying for these end times and all these things, and you know they're going to create wars deliberately for their fake history. Look at this. It turns around and says Damascus will no longer be a city. It's going to become a heap of ruins. Isaiah chapter 17. Yeah. And then it says Paul immediately started to preach the gospel in Damascus. Oh, so now they're going to say it was a Jewish city. It had Jews there. But now let's check some reality out. Yeah. Same like they changed the name of this city. It's called Quds, and they started calling it Jerusalem. And we cannot find this Jerusalem. Yeah, they're going to say we found a few coins and this and that here and there. Yeah, just forgeries. Same like they've just made the road of Jesus Christ from the Sewage road and all this is just a joke. So now even Damascus is called Sham. Sham, or I'm not sure how they pronounce it. Yeah, Al Sham or Ash Sham or something like this. But when the Europeans arrived, they started saying, "Hey, this is Damascus." Now in Greek, us is like you know, Julius, Augustus, Septimus, and then the word da as a prefix, so it's da Moscow, the Moscow. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So in many of the Greek manuscripts, it actually says the Moscow instead of Damascus, as they'd like to say, which sounds more like the city of Moscow. Yeah, and Professor Fomenko has shown that Moscow was actually in the Old Testament. Yeah, yes, and the Old Testament's not that old. Yeah, so the thing is, they've just invented these name places. Let's have a look at Hebron, where they turn around and say the patriarchs are buried there, and there was a mosque there. Or today, you know, um, Israel says this is a synagogue, and they say the patriarchs are buried there. But now let's have a look. This place was called Khalil or Halil. Yeah, I've sent where it says on Wikipedia it's Halil, but I've noticed that I asked some local people, they pronounced it Halil. I noticed more like H. It doesn't sound anything like the biblical Hebron. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that the entire geography is a forgery. The
Mm-hmm.
entire geography
Mm-hmm.
of the Middle East a forgery. Yes. So the thing is, you can see that there is something wrong. But the biggest scandal is, what is this Mohammed doing in the Bible? And then it's not just the Bible, it's like the coronation mantle of the Holy Roman Emperors. Yes. And then this Dome of Rock Mosque, which looks the same as Aachen Cathedral, where the Holy Roman Emperors are getting their crowns. And then their coronation clothes, I've sent it again, has got Arabic writing on it. And it's not just the style and the design. You know, I sent this to Andreas before, but have a look at this. It's like this is you know, pearls and we call it diamonds or gold and all these things. Here's the vests of the Holy Roman Emperors, the socks. Yeah, yeah. They call it vests, but actually it's the socks. Even their socks have got Arabic writing on. Here's
Mm-hmm.
another one for the Holy Roman Emperors. Have you received it? I've sent you
Yeah,
a clear
got
picture.
it.
With
Yeah.
Andreas, I didn't go too deep into it. So now the entire history of the Holy Roman Emperor, and they call these people Huns and Mohammedans. It's a total forgery. And the Bible's talking about battles with all these Mohammeds and these Muslims and these Mohammeds. These Mohammeds are clearly, yes, the Muslims. And it's clear that Northern Europe, yeah, must have most definitely have been Muslim, entirely Muslim, totally Muslim, and the Holy Roman Empire was a Muslim empire. Because let me just show you what is very strange. Yes, the Crusades are very suspicious because now when somebody thinks of the Crusades, what do they think? Who is fighting who? Who do you think is fighting who?
Well, I learned more through you, but generally the idea is that the Christians were invading Jerusalem to take back Jerusalem and fighting the Muslims. That's the official story, no?
Okay, so now let me just send you something. Yeah, that's what they will say. But let me just send you. So now, as you can see, that let's see now. It's hard to find this online, even online. But let me just try to see. I've got it somewhere, but this is very important. Let me send this because this is what everybody thinks. But in my book, Jesus Christ, I mention it a little, but not so much. But let me just see. It's in my book. You know, that's not completed. It should be out in the next 2 weeks. But Jerusalem is in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, we discussed about this before, so the idea of the question
Yes, I found
about the
it.
Crusades,
Yes.
yeah? Mm-hmm.
Right. This is just a joke. Yes. Now the main crusades, even in the Middle East, what nobody seems to understand is this. Yeah, because if you're in England, they've got nationalist history here, so they will point out King Richard, and they will say the English went on the Crusades. If you're in France, they will try to show the French involvement in the Crusades. But the Crusades were mostly, yes, 90% was the Holy Roman Empire, yeah, fighting for the control of Jerusalem. It was mostly this. Now,
Mm-hmm.
another thing is, yeah, the Crusades were also a conflict between the Holy Roman emperors and the churches and the Byzantium Empire. This is another thing people don't realize that, for example, it was normal practice. This was normal, yes, for the Pope and the Vatican to have crusades against the Holy Roman emperors, and they were paying people. They were paying people, inviting people to fight against the Holy Roman Empire. But now they're telling us that the Holy Roman Empire is fighting the Arabs. This is what they're telling us. But then the normal crusades were actually against the Holy Roman Empire. It's the Vatican fighting against the Holy Roman Empire. But now they're telling us the Vatican has launched crusades against the Muslims, and then the Holy
Mm-hmm.
Roman Empire is fighting against the Muslims. Can you see? This is a total contradiction. It's the same like saying that America is fighting against England, but America and England are united to fight against Australia. But then Australia is fighting against England and against America, but then England is fighting against America and you see.
This is
So
obviously
as
a
you can,
question of speculation, but how would you say that the Vatican amass all this power? I mean, you mentioned a bit that maybe they did some forgeries before with the.
that's a long story.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How did they amass all this power? It's got a lot to do with the Kabbalah and other things, and by war and by killing people. Because now we've got a serious problem. As you can see, the Holy Roman Empire, it's called the Ottoman Empire. They're using Arabic, and they're fighting against the Vatican. And then the Ottoman Empire, they're using Arabic, and they're fighting against the Vatican. What the hell is going on here? And the German language, yeah, I've given two examples, but people should investigate themselves. There's many examples that the old Germanic is very similar to Quranic Arabic, not modern Arabic, the Arabic in the
Mm-hmm.
Quran. So now the thing is, the Germans were called Mohammedans. Yes, they were called Mohammedans. They were called Huns. We cannot the name German. Yeah, they added it to anus, which is a very suspicious term. That the Vatican and their boys were calling them the German anus, like the germs and the anus. We can figure out what this word is. It's not very difficult. Yes. So what they called them. But they were the Mohammedans, and then the Bible has got Muhammad everywhere. When people start to look at this, it was clearly a battle between the Mohammedans, the Muslims, and Islam against the Vatican. And now, when you look at Islamic regulation in the Quran, that this is in the United Nations, that Islam has actually regulated war, where you are not allowed to massacre the opponent, and human rights is actually defined in the Quran. This is not defined in
Mm-hmm.
the Bible or anywhere else. That Islam has actually defined this. The United Nations actually has pointed this out. Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
so has the US government. They've pointed this out too. Yes, so if the Holy Roman Empire was Muslim, the way the evidence shows, and the Russians and Northern Europe, yes, and the Vikings, yes, too, they were clearly not barbarians. So they couldn't do atrocities. They had limits. They probably got angry and they said, we are going to do this to the enemy, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't execute the enemy. They couldn't execute the women and children. Now, anybody who reads the Old Testament carefully, we hear stories of the so-called Yahweh, which just basically means he said, or he's going to do this. It doesn't mean God. There's a war going on between the Vatican, or what is classified as Judah, as the war between Judah and Israel, or the Vatican and Israel. Yes, and Judah and Israel originally split up. They had their disagreements over Jerusalem. They were fighting over Jerusalem. But then it looks like the Vatican penetrated Judah, which was the Holy Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
They were fighting against Judah. If the Holy Roman Empire was Judah, as the evidence shows, then it means the Vatican was fighting against them, and then they slowly dominated them. And mysteriously, Germany is so many principalities and cantons, and so
Yes,
was
yes,
Switzerland
yes, yes.
and Austria. Yes. Same like Italy was. So the Vatican took over all these places one by one. What did they do? Money, power. And what do we see today? We've all had young friends that we turn around and realize they all just wanted money, starting in their 20s. They were all focused on money. We noticed a lot of our own friends that we used to turn around and think, hey, how can they be so heartless? Why are they only focused on money? They've
Mm.
got no passion for anything except money. That are many friends at university, all they used to turn around and think is, when I finished my masters, this is the salary I can aim for, and this is what I can get.
Mm.
And you can see this. And even to this day, many of my friends are like this. And there were other people who couldn't progress through there that we saw that were involved in petty fraud or petty things, trying to make lots of money. And other people you can see were involved even in violence. We can see this. Yeah. Drug
Yeah.
dealers, gang violence. They are people today. Those are the type of people the Vatican recruited them and said, hey, if you get this, it's in many Vatican documents saying you can keep their land, you can do this, you can do that. The Vatican's actually encouraging people. You can find this in Middle Age documents saying, seize their lands, do this, do that. I'm giving you the holy writ. I'm giving you permission, and I'm going to provide you protection. Join us. Do this to the Mohammedans. Do this to the Saracens. Do these to the Huns. Yes. So it's clearly the Bible is a document that's describing the war between the Muslims. Yes, and the Vatican, and they took over Judah. That there was a separate Judah that came from Babylon, which was in Egypt. That the Holy Roman Empire, the Ottoman was one empire. It was the same, and they divided after two. But they invaded. And from the north with Russian soldiers, German soldiers, French soldiers, Scandinavian soldiers, and they took over Jerusalem because the Vatican started off in Jerusalem, and then there was Babylon, which was the original name for Judah. They were in Babylon, and then the army of the so-called Mohammed or Mehmet or the Mohammeds that came from Germany, they invaded and took over these two places, which is known as the fall of Istanbul, or known as the Last Crusade. And this is when the Vatican made the New Testament again, recreated it. That the New Testament was written before the Old Testament, but they recreated it as a New Testament for a new world order, and they started their invasion of Italy. That they had to regroup, and that from there we can see a total different agenda: the New World, the New Testament, and New World
Mm-hmm.
Order. I've explained this in other interviews before, and it's in all my books. Yeah. But anyway, the biggest conspiracy of the day. What the hell is Muhammad doing all over the Bible?
Mm.
Yes. What the hell is it doing there? And please don't turn around and say he was an apple. Then Jesus Christ is a banana. The Virgin Mary is a tomato. Yes, King David is an orange. Yes, and we're going to say this. And if they're going to try to play and say modern Hebrew, they can check up Eliza Ben Yehuda. In fact, I'll send this for this one video because I don't want anybody to turn around and say, hey, I just invented this. No one spoke Hebrew until the 20th century, and then Eliza Ben Yehuda, when he invented modern Hebrew, he invented many of the meanings and the roots from Arabic. Yes, and he turned around. It wasn't a spoken language, and then he turned around and said that I got it from Arabic. He even said it was from Arabic. So when you're going to translate the Old Testament, yes, you should use the Arabic roots. Yes, because the meanings have been given to us on Arabic roots, but changed by Ben Yehuda and his committee. By his committee, by the way. He was a humanist, and humanists were normally employed by the Vatican, by the way. He turned and says the roots of Arabic were part of the Hebrew language, but we lost them. Oh, yeah, we lost them for 2,000 years. To make sure that Hebrew comes to life, to understand it, I've turned to a sister, which is Arabic, following the deeds of our ancient scholars. So this means when they invented Old Hebrew in the Old Testament, they turned to Arabic also. He's even admitting this. Then he turned around and says, I found these Hebrew roots. Where did I find them? In the local people in their languages, because he went out in the Middle East, to find the pronunciation and the meanings. And he found that those same words are in the Mishnah and Talmud everywhere. Yes. And then his committee, yes, the rules of grammar, everything, they invented everything from Arabic and modified it as they wished.
Hmm.
You see? So the thing is, Muhammad's in the Bible. Yeah. The Bible is a Muslim book and it was modified. It's Muslim history and it was modified. It is the history of the Muslims of Europe, not a Muslim race of Middle Eastern people in the desert. It is the history of the German people, the Dutch people, the British people, the Swedish people, the Danish people, the Hungarian people, the Austrian people, the Czech Republic people, the Bohemian Crusade, the Austrian people, the Swiss people, the Polish people. It is the history of Europe and the European Mohammeds. Yes, that Europe had all these wars for 1,000 years that mysteriously ended in the 20th century because they made a type of 100-year peace agreement. And many people in Turkey are talking about this, that it's about to end next year. This is totally worrying.
Oh.
Now, if people are going to ignore this, and if they're going to ignore this and say, hey, what do you call it? Yes, the thing is, no, this Muhammad's not there, whatever. That after 1,000 years, that's why they use the number 19. Yeah, I've explained this. It's in many of my books. People can read Napoleon and the Mud Flood and the Alpha and Omega codes and the Matrix codes, or otherwise they won't understand it. It wasn't 1900 by accident. It was by global agreement at the top by the Holy Roman Emperors, yes, or Allah's Roman Emperors, or Aleman, or the men of Allah, many of these Germanic people at the top, and whoever they call the Ottoman Empire and the Vatican, and Judah that came from Babylon, they all made an agreement, and there's still been a bit of fighting that continued outside the Islamic lands. That's why the Ottoman Empire, or most of the Muslim lands, were not in World War II. They recruited soldiers from Algeria, Morocco. The French recruited, I think, about 200,000 from Algeria. Oh, they didn't recruit them. They said, you got to come or we're going to kill you. Yeah, you got to fight for us. Yeah. Sorry, recruitment is not the nice word. It's a lie. They took them as slaves, as dogs. Yes, the French took them as dogs. Oh, they gave them no compensation whatsoever. Yeah, they took them as dogs. And Macron says he's not a dog, he's a human. And he's refusing to give them compensation or recognize these things. Yeah, what these people did is a joke. They made the world a mess. And the thing is, next year, we don't know what the Treaty of Lausanne, what the actual treaty says. Yes, and they falsified the history, saying Rothschild chaired that meeting, etc., and many other things. But this is just fake history. The entire history of the Rothschild family is a lie. It's the people at the top, the elites between the Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Yeah, they're elites. They're from the same family. They are the higher children of Israel. The Quran actually says many of these things. Yeah, but many people won't look there. Okay, look in the Bible. Yes, and consider it with the Mohammeds there. And then you will realize that after 2024, let's hope that they can make another agreement to carry on the peace. Yeah, there will be wars, smaller wars, but let's hope they can continue this, because many clauses in that treaty are going to end next year, which is a total worry. Anyway, let's leave it at that, Raphael. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, Good luck. I'm sure that even you now are totally shocked, thinking, "Damn, I thought I'd made up my mind about history. Now I've got to worry. Muhammad's name is everywhere in the Bible, and so are these Muslims." Even I got worried. I am worried too. So if somebody
Hmm.
says I'm preaching, I'm not a preacher. I don't want to be classified as a preacher. I'm not sending anyone towards the Mohammedans or the Muslims. If you want to go, you go. If you don't want to go and say that Muhammad was an apple or an object or he was something that you wish, fair enough. You understand? Yes,
Yeah.
that's your choice. Yeah. Okay, Raphael, let's leave it at that.
Thank
Yes.
you very much, David,
Okay.
and I guess everyone agrees you didn't disappoint. Thank you very much for all these
Yeah.
revelations, and I sincerely hope everyone listening does their own research, check it out for yourself, add your comments,
Yes.
add your research. This is a common effort, and we all gotta put all cards on the table if you want to get to the bottom of this. And
Yes.
thank you
And
very
I
much,
hope this
David, for
contributes
sharing.
towards world peace. I hope
Indeed,
it does, because the fraud of the
indeed.
Bible is Muhammad, it's the Muhammad's books and the Muslims' book, and it's been forged. Yes, it's just a forgery. It's one of the biggest scams ever. A total scam. These people, and then they're sending people to the sewage pipeline and the sewage route
Mm.
and the sewage water and things like this. This is just a total scam. And they're going to make money out of it, saying this is the pilgrimage route of Jesus Christ and the prophets of God. Bloody hell. I don't know what else to say. It's a total
Thank
scam.
you. Thank you, David.
Yeah. Okay, Raphael. Have a nice day.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah.
Bye.